Let's talk a little bit about last week. That was obviously a much better game than what we played the week before. The transition and the offense was obvious. We did a lot more movement. I thought our guys were more comfortable in what they were doing. We had one of our offensive linemen back, starting guard, that basically missed most of the practice the week before the first game. He looked much more comfortable. I thought our offensive line was much improved in terms of our run blocking. We looked more comfortable on blitz protection, and that's where it all starts. Hayden Moore had a terrific game. He made very good decisions, and this offense, quarterbacks are going to have to make even more decisions than we made in the offense previous, and we put a lot on the quarterback. I thought Zach Taylor did a good job of calling the game in terms of mixing it up and giving our guys a chance. That was a big football team that we played on both sides, defensive line and offensive line. They were very physical, and it was going to be a good test for us. They had good skilled people in the back end on defense, and their receivers were very athletic. So that was a huge challenge for us. A big win for us on the road. Again, it all started, I thought, on offense, where we executed, didn't turn the ball over. We got good field position. We made some explosive plays that we didn't make the week before. 0 drops. And so that's the type of play that we're going to have as we get into conference play this week from our offense. Defensively, we played well at times, and sometimes we didn't play well. We didn't play a smart game on defense. We made substitutions as the game went on. You got to play more players than what we've been playing. And the guys that went in the game didn't play smart. There's some things you have to do in alignment that when you get in alignment, if you line up wrong, you're beat already. And they took advantage of us. They really did. And after the game, knowing that we won the game, it's good that our guys saw what just a 1 or 2 yards can do to make a mistake in terms of alignment. And huge learning experience. But we played hard. 5 turnovers is unbelievable for this football team compared to what we've had in the past. Mike Tyson played lights out. He's a big-time football player, getting better and better. The interception he made, 2 of them. The one over the top, the receiver that basically caught the ball, that he took it away from, and then one in the end zone. We hadn't made those plays in the past. We just hadn't made those. And you can tell we're more athletic because we're around the ball, we're tipping balls, we're getting more pressure on the passer. This past week, we're a little bit different in our pass rush from what we planned, but we game planned, which was good. I thought it worked for us, and it gave us an opportunity to make the plays in the secondary. Then our kicking game, the week before, remember our kicking game, how very average we were with our field goals and extra points, and we just looked off timing. So the whole game kind of came together. I thought it would take a little bit longer to have a game like that, but it was good to do it on the road, get in a positive frame of mind going into our first conference game. Houston's a big play football team, obviously ranked very high. They've been very good, not just the last 2 years. They've been good since I've been in this league. We've had some battles with them. We've had 2 in Houston. We've had 1 here at Paul Brown Stadium that we won basically on the last play of the game. And now they're coming back for a return trip from us going last year. That was a game that kind of put us out of range for a chance to replay them again for the conference championship. We fought hard. Our players played hard. We were well prepared. We made plays. But if you just go back and look at 3 or 4 plays where we turned the ball over for a touchdown, we gave up the safety, fumbled the ball in the end zone, dropped a punt, gave them the ball at the 15-yard line. Kicked an onside kick when nobody in the stadium knew they were going to kick. We were going to kick one, except for our kicker. It was a game of just mistakes, and I'll take as much blame as anybody for that. So, but they had an excellent football team. They came within 1 game of running the table, and then beat a so-called Power 5 team handedly in the bowl game. Fast forward to this year. They've got off to a tremendous start. They have basically the same players that they've had since I've been here. We know what they can do. Our players know what they can do. They're very talented on offense. They've got skilled receivers. They got a transfer running back, I think, from Texas this play. They got a quarterback that just extends plays, and that's what you do in this offense. This is a Big 12 offense. When I was at Texas Tech, you saw this every week, this offense. I mean, it's screens, go fast, run the ball, throw it deep, throw it short. I mean, they have it all. I mean, so it's going to be a game again that puts pressure on our defense. We've got to continue to get better. We've got to make plays. We've got to tackle well. Obviously, Greg Ward, the quarterback, is a guy that's very, very athletic. And this year, I can remember we played him the first year down there. I think he even started at wide receiver in the game. And by midpoint of the game, he was at quarterback. And we did not respect his arm. He was more of a runner. Same thing again the next year here at Paul Brown Stadium when we beat him at the end of the year to tie for the conference championship. We didn't quite as much respect his arm as we did his athletic ability. Now you got to respect both. He threw for, I don't know, 350 or so against Oklahoma, who's a top ranked team in the country, one of them. Absolutely just tore him up, and looks like a totally different quarterback. He's one of the most improved guys I've seen in a long time. They make plays, again, out of the pocket, in the pocket, throwing the ball around, but they can run it. And it's a very dangerous offense. It's not as comparable what a lot of people, Tom came from Ohio State, and it's somewhat what they did at Ohio State, but he's put his touches on it from teams that are, again, from down in that area that I've coached against before, the screens, all the formations, the movement, and so he's extended, what he's done in the past. Not coached against Tom when I was at Texas Tech. He was at Iowa State. Not even similar, not even close to what he's doing now. So you have to adjust to what they do with your defense, and again, it's all about tackling. Then with their defense, they are pressure, speed. They're not as big as some of the teams that will play, but even 4 years ago when we first played them, I think they led the nation in turnovers. I mean, they're all around the football. They're either going to give you plays or they're going to take away plays from you. And it's just kept on with that tradition. They're very energetic. They play with a lot of motion on defense. They do a lot of different things, and so it gives you a lot of problems with your offense. But we run the type of offense we feel like that gives us an opportunity. Whether we can take advantage of it, who knows? So it'll be it's a huge game for us, huge game for them. Everybody's looking at them as a playoff team. When we're only through 2 games, it is almost impossible to go undefeated in major college football. I've been on some great teams that did not do it. They got an offense and defense with experience, with a quarterback that's experienced, that I feel like they feel like probably they've got a run to do it, and rightly so. I mean, this is a very good football conference, and they found out last year going to Connecticut, the only game they lost. It's hard to keep that tempo up. We get our opportunity to play them this week. I am looked at the prognosticators, but I would be amazed if we're predicted to win the game. But we are playing at home. We're excited to play in front of our fans. Thursday night should be a huge game for our university, and huge step forward to put our name out there and see what kind of football team we got through this transition that we're going through first couple of games. Questions?
Is there an obvious way to defend him, Tom?
Well, I mean, there's not an obvious way, because they're different every week, because they formation you to death. They change things up. They try to take advantage of overloads. They call probably 70 to 80% of their plays after they line up at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback looks over the sideline and gets a signal, and usually, the speed that they go, all the no-huddle teams, including us, you're going to have an opportunity to be in the right play versus their defense, 70, 80% of the time. If you get lined up and get going. And so it's all about, getting out there and getting lined up and playing smart. And last year, we let Greg Ward out of the pocket a couple of times, and he's going to take advantage of it. And he's that type of player. And just watching him play the first game of the year against Oklahoma, you know that you hear about Oklahoma's and their defenses and all that. They couldn't tackle him. They got him a couple of times. Most of the time he extended the play, got the ball down the field for a 30, 40-yard gain. And that's the type of offense this is. It's I said yesterday on our teleconference, he's the kind of Texas A&M version of the Johnny Manziel, that now it's at Houston. And same type of offense, same thing. It's going to be easy, huh? I know you got one, Bill. Come on.
I just want to ask you about Nippert Stadium, the amazing success you've had there in recent years. What is there about that place? Is it more than most teams get the home field advantage? There's something about Nippert?
Well, as you said, first of all, it's home field advantage. Second, it's your students, which we get a huge turnout. Last year, I remember the Miami game. Some of the coaches from Miami, after the game, said we never even counted on that much crowd noise. And it's a night game. Any college football game is night, especially when all the students have an opportunity to come and be into it. It gives you the advantage, and it's given us an advantage. Now, we did lose, I think, a Thursday night game against Louisville my first year here, and I thought we were very unlucky by the weather, because sometimes the weather can take the emotion out of a game at home, because it's kind of cold. It was sleeting and raining and snowing, and we didn't have that extra punch. We had a lot in the student section, but it was awfully not near as what it was last week or what it'll be this week. But we can't count on our fans winning the game for us. We got to play well against a very good football team. But it's a early in the week game. We hadn't taken a minute off since we finished the game on Saturday, knowing it was a quick turnaround. We did a lot of pre-work on this game before the season started. But the whole thing is about players being motivated and getting people involved, the crowd involved. That's the whole thing about home field advantage, crowd noise.
You've been in a lot of big environments, big game environments. Where does Nippert on Thursday night kind of stack up with that? Because I know for a lot of people here, that's what made UC football.
Oh yeah, it's made a lot of teams. Thursday and Friday night football has made a lot of teams across the country that didn't have the opportunity to play on primetime football on Saturdays or Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. And I can remember over the years watching the games that UC played in on Thursday and Fridays. Other team, Colorado State, Air Force, a lot of teams that didn't have that opportunity to be looked at by college football fans across the country. There's no doubt Thursday night has been huge. Now the NFL jumped in on Thursday night, but I still think it's a college football night. And I don't think that I think everybody still looks at Thursday night as the game that they want to watch and check it out. And so I think the players like it too, because most of these kids on every team now grew up watching Thursday night football. They know the implications. The family can watch, and it's a different feeling for Thursday night football.
How's the atmosphere here?
It's good. The atmosphere here is awesome. As I said, the Miami coaches last year and they play in big stadiums a lot and loud stadiums, and they had a tough time, with the audibling, changing play, and all those things, and they thought it affected their players, and that's a home field advantage, and hopefully we have a packed house and everybody's into it, and then we have to do our part, and we did last year. We gained the momentum pretty early in that game, and usually that's what you have to do. But I'm sure Houston's got other thoughts.
After going 7-6 last year, do you feel like the program needs a signature win to kind of get back into national consciousness?
Well, any win's a signature. This is obviously when you're playing a top ranked team. I haven't looked at what the highest ranked team Cincinnati's played at home or on the road. I haven't looked at that, but our guys look at it as another game. They're used to playing Houston. It's not like we're going playing. We played Ohio State a couple years ago, and didn't know what to expect because it hadn't been against them. They know a lot of these guys. They played against them. They tried to block them. They tried to tackle them. They tried to cover them. And so our guys know a lot more about this, and it's a team in our conference. And knowing that, hey, this is not a do or die, because if you know, we're not on the same side of the conference. You know, we can end up playing at the end of the year again if something were to happen the right way. Obviously, the type of team that they have, you know, with us trying to get better every week, they feel like they're in full swing, and so we're going to get their best shot.
In terms of perception, Tom, how important is it that you at least show well against a school with aspirations very similar to yours in terms of the Big 12?
Oh, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I would imagine all those decisions are already made. You know, it's your body of work. It's not about a football game. When you go into a conference, you're talking basketball. You're talking about other sports. Even what is done before I got here, I'd always wondered why Cincinnati had not been in one of the other conferences, even before I was a coach here. So I don't think that's got a lot to do with it. I mean, this is one game going into the third game of the season, first conference game, and a lot on the line for us, obviously, but we won't look at it that way. We're going to look at trying to get into a conference championship game at the end of the year and try to get better. Right now, we're not good enough. We're going to have to play a lot better even than what we played last week here at home. When you have no turnovers and you gain 5 turnovers, we're in the +5 column. Last week, I remember I told you we wanted to be in the plus column. Over +5, we need to continue that plus column and get a little bit higher to have an opportunity to beat some of these teams that have a lot of experience and a lot going for them.
You talked about Mike Tyson's big game last week. Can you kind of discuss how he's grown since he's been in agency?
You know, he's probably one of the better athletes that we've had here. And we signed him when we first got here. Wished we could have redshirted him. We just didn't. We didn't have enough defensive backs when we first got here. But he's grown. He's gotten better. He's a tall, rangy guy that can really is very explosive. And if you just watch that interception over the middle on their first or second drive, you always wonder how much better he can get. He's got a real solid chance of playing a lot of football after this year. A lot of it's going to be up to him, but he's football smart. I think a lot of our players learn from him. He's kind of a coach on the field. He is what we call our nickel back, really our Sam linebacker. If we were playing a team that played 2 backs, he'd be a linebacker. But very similar to a guy that I coach that's playing for the Bengals now, Carlos Dansby. Skinny, tall, rangy, can run. I started Carlos at safety when I was at Auburn. Wide receiver, safety, and moved to outside linebacker, kind of what Mike's doing. So Mike's a very good athlete with a lot of explosion, but again, he's got football smarts. A lot more than some of the young guys I got right now that's got to grow up. They got to learn, you know, it's about lining up before you even play. You can get beat by a lineman, so that's it's been fun to watch Mike coach some of these younger guys, and